This summer is flying by. Children will be headed back into the classroom in a few weeks. So on today's To Your Wellbeing, we're talking about steps to take for a healthy school year. It is not too early to start thinking about this. That is why we're joined by Cone Health pediatrician Nicole Chandler. First up, back to school shots. How important are they that our kids get these?
Vaccines are our first line of defense against very serious diseases. It's really important that all kids are up to date before they start the school year, for sure.
What do you do if your kids are a little behind on their vaccines?
So no worries, it's really common. A lot of people have gotten behind during the pandemic. Just call your pediatrician's office and they'll be able to typically fit you in. I know in our clinic, we fit patients in as vaccine visits if they're behind, because we know how important it is to get these in before school starts.
Which ones are the most important?
Well, of course, the school requires certain vaccines. So we recommend that all the children get all of the vaccines required by the school, which are also supported by the AAP. You can look at the CDC website to see. There's a pretty long list. I think I'd bore you if I tried to tell you all of them right now. The ones that we want people to not forget are, of course, the COVID vaccine, as well as the normal school required vaccines.
Which kids can get the COVID vaccine now?
So good question. The AAP and the CDC both recommend that children 6 months and older receive the COVID vaccine, and that children that are 5 years and older receive the COVID vaccine and the booster when they're eligible.
And is that a one shot or a two shot for the kids?
Well, so it would be the normal vaccines would be the 2 shots, of course, and then the booster vaccines as well.
Okay, the next question a lot of parents want to know about is sleep. Kids like to stay up all hours of the night during the summer. How do you get them back to a normal routine?
Yes, and as a parent myself, we also deal with similar things, but it's good to start to get them back into a normal routine a week or two before school starts, because those early morning awakenings can be really hard if you don't have a little bit of practice time before that. And what we don't want is for them to start school and that be the first week that they're waking up really early and them just to be completely exhausted and unable to concentrate or pay attention.
How much sleep do kids actually need to be able to concentrate?
Probably more than most people think. Grade school students usually need near or up to 10 hours per day. High school students, grade school 10 to 12. High school, at least 10.
Did you just say 12 hours of sleep a day?
Up to 12 hours of sleep. Yeah.
Wow, why is that so important?
Well, it's a time where our bodies and our brains are able to rest, recoup. And remember, one thing we forget about children that's very different than us is that they're growing. Every second of every day, they're growing.
And to grow takes sleep, I guess.
To grow, to learn, to think, to concentrate.
Is there any kind of foods that we want to start to get our kids on now to keep them healthy and be able to grow and to concentrate?
I think a few things that are really important because we see problems in clinic are making sure your kid gets a good breakfast or gets food for breakfast before they leave the home. We will often see kids who come in who haven't had breakfast, and they'll come in for a variety of different reasons, having become a little lightheaded at school, not concentrating. We've all felt hunger. And when you're hungry, it's really hard to concentrate and it's hard to think. So a good breakfast and making sure they have food for lunch are both really important for kids at school.
Okay, when the parents are trying to get the kids ready, they don't really have time to cook a super healthy, intense breakfast. What's a quick, healthy thing they can feed their kids?
Well, I think if you have a few minutes, toast with peanut butter if you're not allergic, will pack a lot of nutrition, oatmeal, yogurt. If you're really in a crunch for time, you could always grab a granola bar, but I would really look and see at the ingredients, how much of that granola bar is sugar, what else is in it, look at your protein content and make sure what they're eating will give them some some good nutrition and energy for the day.
Well, great. There's so much more important information about how to keep your kids healthy as we head back to school. That's coming up on the other side of this break.